Hey everybody, this is Gary Kay, and we are going to be talking about ISE again. As you all know, ISE starts next week, and a lot of us will be heading to Amsterdam. Included in that is Ren Taylor, who is the product manager at Da-Lite. Ren, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for the time today, Gary.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate you joining our video cast today. You're going to be, of course, Legrand will have a very big presence at ISE, as they always do. Hall 2, stand C50. Part of that's going to be Da-Lite and Projecta, which are two big brands. Da-Lite came out of the U.S. side, Projecta came out of the European side, but together y'all make a heck of a force to be reckoned with both rigid and flexible screens of all shapes and sizes. Talk about sort of what we can expect to see at ISE next week.
Well, you'll most likely see an evolution of what we started to do last year at ISE, and we continued on in Infocom in Orlando, where we're doing more of a vignette approach to the booth. It's not a specific, chief or Vadio, Da-Lite, or Projecta area. Everything's kind of combined together to show you more of a fully integrated solution for AV from the Legrand AV brands. So for Da-Lite, we have some big electric screens like our Wireline Advantage with our Parallax Stratus ambient light rejection surface, as well as on the Projecta side of things, we have like our Attention Descender Pro small meeting room electric screen, as well as the Full Vision, which is a product that we both share here on both sides of the Atlantic. That's a fixed frame with a borderless design to it.
Yeah, and one of the things that Da-Lite has that's quite unique is you have kind of every screen for every application. You're not just movie theater screens or just giant custom screens. You have the screen in the box screens, you have the pull down screens, you have the electric screens, you have the fixed frame screens, you have the rental screens, you have the light rejection screen, ambient light rejection screens, rear screen, front screen, and you have screens that you can custom make screens as well. So there's a definite advantage that Da-Lite and Projecta together have over the other screen companies that are in the market. Let's be honest here, where they're very much sort of one type of screen company for a specific application.
Well, I appreciate the admiration and the good explanation of our product portfolio. we do try to be a one-stop shop for a lot of different screen applications. We may not have every single option a customer is looking for. We've really started to narrow in on what specifically the AV trends are kind of asking us to do from the screen side, both at Projecta and at Da-Lite. Like one of the focus areas for sure that you've already mentioned is ambient light rejection. And something that we're really excited about as a debut that we'll be doing at ISE is something we do internally for our sales teams and for some of our bigger level events here in the US, which is to show on a bigger scale what a standard white screen versus a contrast-based ambient light rejection screen like Parallax Stratus versus a optically based ambient light rejection screen like Parallax Pure look like side by side. For some customers, they don't quite understand, oh, I've heard of it, ALR, I've heard of ambient light rejection. What does that really do for me? But showing that in more of a scale that they can understand, like a full-size screen aspect, and showing everything side by side, it really kind of turns the light bulb on over their head of, oh, okay, I get it. There's certain times where a basic white screen will work for me, and other times where I just don't have a bright enough projector, or the light is just too much, and then this is how the image will look if I do choose an ambient light rejection screen. So from an education aspect, that's something we'll have on the show floor and something we've been doing for our internal teams for a while. It's kind of making its customer debut here at the show.
Yeah, it's interesting because the worst possible environment is probably a trade show floor. So if you can make a projector look bright using a screen on a trade show floor, you're doing something right. You mentioned the vignettes. Last year, it was really cool that you had a conference room set up, you had a classroom sort of environment set up, you had an office environment set up. I guess that's what you're referring to in the Legrand booth?
Yeah, so like the Da-Lite and Projecta products, it's pretty easy to wrap your head around where they would be. And, I'll say the words here and it'll be like, oh yeah, of course, that's where you're going to project. And so, like a large venue space, meeting room or a conference room, an education environment, that's the wheelhouse of where Da-Lite and Projecta are really going to showcase themselves at ISE. But of course, we have to represent the other brands there and recognize where their strengths are. So for broadcast, obviously, audio is going to be the core component of that type of vignette. Digital signage, that's where Chief is really going to come into play, as well as, you know, some of the stuff that might be coming in from the other brands that we're really highlighting this year, like Luxel and C2G. So you're always going to get a good flavor for, you know, the type of environment you're looking for and what brands play into those environments, because not only with Da-Lite and Projecta being a one-stop shop for projection screens, Legrand AV is trying to be a one-stop shop for all of your ancillary and all of your core component AV products that you need. So that should be eye-opening for customers that aren't used to it yet.
Yeah, and of course you can see all this at in Hall 2, stand C50, or you can go to legrandav.com, legrand.av.com. If you do the commercial brand drop down for, since we're at ISE, or you can do the residential brand drop down, you'll see Da-Lite's listed there. You can also go directly by going legrandav/brand/Da-Lite and get to Da-Lite. Sort of, I've known Da-Lite for 30 years. I mean, I think probably 90% of screens you see in classrooms, meeting rooms, boardrooms are Da-Lite screens. Y'all have a great market share and great brand recognition. But of course, at ISE, we'll include Chief, Da-Lite, Luxel. Will Mid-Atlantic be in the Legrand booth, or will they have their own booth again this year? Do you know?
No, no separation again. So last year with Mid-Atlantic Products, that was their, you know, soft relaunch into the EMEA market. So they're definitely fully integrated into the booth. The story this year is to introduce Luxel to the Pro AV environment, as well as to do the same sort of soft launch for C2G. So yeah, all the brands are going to be in one place if they're under.
Yeah, and then the last two are Projecta and Vadio. Luxel, Luxel, I recall last year was only in the residential side, but now has the commercial product as well. So you want to make sure you stop by there. You're kind of a glue company, make a little bit of everything that sticks everything together. And there's not a very, I would venture to say that you're probably in 95% of every room that's installed, that's in the commercial AV world, something of Legrand is there. I'd be shocked if something's not there. And if you're using a screen, there's probably a good 75-80% chance they're going to be a Da-Lite screen. So congratulations. We'll be there. We're going to go out there and shoot videos on all the new products at the show. So if you're watching this after the show, you can type in any of those brands in our video search window. You can follow all of our ISE coverage at raypubs.com/ISE2020. And again, go to legrandav.com. Ren, I appreciate you joining me today. I appreciate it. Ren Taylor, who's the product manager at Da-Lite. Thanks for your time.
Thanks so much, Gary.
Thank you, and thanks for watching.